Shalom. I'm back with the part two of the segment. I had a brief interruption. A brother needed to get in the house, so I had to go open the door. So I labeled that first video part one, and this is the continuance part two, picking up where I left off at Ecclesiastes 12:1. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." Right. This is basically is a warning for you to draw near to the Most High. Remember your Creator, because this is the time where you must turn to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai if you seek to be delivered in these trying times that's coming. For the simple fact that the warnings are there, and the only way you're going to make it out of there is if, for one, you got to be part of the elect, and you got to seek after the Most High. And those that are of the elect or the hopeful elect will seek after the Most High because they want refuge in these trying times. Verse 2, while the sun or light or moon or stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, which is these are just signs to let you know we close to the day of the Lord's wrath kicking off. So you have to remember, our Creator in these times, because these are His this is His will that's going to be taking place, and the only way you can be on the right side of His will is you have to seek after Him. You have to listen to the brothers that's out there that's teaching and bringing this truth out every week, and then you got to do your own studying, and then may the Most High sup with you, and then His Spirit will get upon you, and you'll come into this thing. Because of those that don't come into these things, there's no hope for them. There's and they won't seek after Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. They'll just go on in their docile state, in a zombified state, and just doing whatever they want to do within filling their own belly, and then they'll get caught up, and they'll get caught up in these times, and they won't know what's happening. Verse 3: In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinding cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. Now the house is America, and the keepers of the house is your government. Your law enforcement, your government, those who basically who control and keep the house. That would be the military, law enforcement, and all your local military or your local police force or law enforcement. That's the keepers, and the house is America, and this is talking about martial law, because the simple fact is when these times happen, people when stomachs are growling and throats are dry, people get violent. People lose it if they can't feed their family. They can't feed themselves. They can't feed their family. You know, they chaos happens. That's if you look at what's going on in the surrounding countries. Countries like um, Greece, what happened over there in Greece, and how their economy is collapsed, and the people were reduced to only being able to they were only being able to withdraw $63 out of their account, no matter how much their account. They could have had $100,000 in their account, but the government seized their assets to only allow them an allowance, which was $63 a day. People start losing it, and that didn't matter what your account said. That didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter. And you look at what's going on over in Romania. They had one of the largest protests that we have seen in forever. Same thing with what's going on over there in Brazil and Venezuela. Venezuela's got to an all-time low where they're eating one another, they're eating people, they're eating trash. Man, it's just really bad over there in Venezuela, and it's moving its way up to Brazil, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico just filed bankruptcy because their local government is hundreds of $1 millions in debt, and that's U.S. soil. That's U.S. Puerto Rico, and it's making its way from South to Central to Northern America, South America, Central America, on up to Northern America, which is the U.S. which is where we're at here. We're waiting for it to hit here, and this scripture is prophesying it's going to come here. This is what these scriptures that I'm bringing out. We're on our way to approaching these fasts because people have liberties right now. They have the liberty to go out and work. Work a five days a week, 40 hours a week. Work a second job if they want to. Well, when these times hit, you ain't gonna have one job, let alone working two jobs. You see, you can get up and go to the store and purchase things that you want, necessities, luxuries. You have that liberty right now. But when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, because the grinding cease. That means the jobs are low. I mean, grinding means represents work. People say, even through the neighborhoods, Jake in the hood even say, "Man, about to get on my grind. I'm grinding." That means he's out trying to earn money, trying to make wages. Whether it be legal or illegal. No telling with Jake nowadays. But that's what that's talking about. People they grind, they're working, and then that's gonna cease. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Like I was saying before, the door shutting represents martial law. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And he rising up at the voice of the bird represents, your alarm clocks. You have, in the ancient days, or not even just in the ancient days. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember the roosters used to be roosting. The people that had roosters in our neighborhood, crack of dawn, they was out there. You could hear the roosters, and that was letting you know that, okay, it's must be about 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun coming up. Well, those birds represent the alarm clocks you set when you got to get up to go to work. Well, there won't be a need for those alarm clocks. People not gonna have work, and then it tops off by saying that all the daughters of music shall be brought low, which we're in that situation now. Man, the music is trash now. All the music that you hear on the radio is the same type of music being playing over and over, like it's on repeat on all the different radio stations, and it's trash, it's junk. So it's letting you know that these are the times we're in now. And during these times, it's going to be lawlessness, man. That's why martial law is going to take place, because people aren't gonna abide by the law. They're not gonna care about what the law says. They're gonna they gonna they gonna go out and they're gonna take it. This is Second Esdras 15 and verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand." That's your race riots, because it's gonna get that bad. It's gonna, race riots is prophesied throughout the scriptures. So this is during this time, people are gonna get with their own kind, their own race, their own neighborhoods, and it's already designed that way anyway. You go to the hoods, the ghettos, the projects, is Jake in there, and then you go to the suburbs, it's Edomites on this side, then you got Asians on the other side, so-called Asians, so-called white men. They're separated. You have some communities that are integrated, but not much. But those that are integrated, they gonna get with their own kind, and they're gonna fight against the other races. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. There shall not regard their kings nor princes. Their kings and princes represent, your police chief, your governors, your mayors, all your high officials, all your government officials, all your law enforcement. That's who that represent. People ain't gonna kill. They're not gonna care that their mayor is gonna get on a local news station and tell the people to calm down, and to not be rioting, not to be looting, not to have race riots and wars. They're not gonna care what they're saying. They're not gonna care when the governor does breaking news and telling the people that they need to calm down, and their help is on the rise, and all this stuff. And of course, your president gets on there and address certain things. They're not gonna care what any of them have to say. They're gonna do by any means necessary. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power, meaning the course of their action is they're going to disregard what their public officials are saying, what their kings and or princes are saying. They don't care. The course of their action is we don't give a shit what you're saying. I don't have food on my table. I don't have running water. I don't have the bare necessities that I've been accustomed to having throughout my life, and I'm gonna take it by any way I can get it. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to, because the cities are going to be blocked off. They're gonna put those railroad tracks, because there's railroad tracks that runs through all cities throughout the United States. And they're gonna be putting those trains on those tracks to stop people from going from city to city, and they're gonna be blocked off. Cities are gonna be blocked off, and it's gonna be blocked off due to how much what city has, as far as money wise. You got poor cities, and you got, you know, um, mediocre cities, or cities that would be considered the middle class, and then you got the high class. People who would be considered, you know, they make more money, the higher class or whatnot, and so they're gonna have those cities blocked off where people can't go. You can't go to two cities over to see your loved one because it's gonna be blocked off. They're gonna have uh, martial law troops out there, FEMA troops out there, UN troops out there. They're gonna have EU troops out there. They're gonna have NATO troops out there. You're gonna have foreign troopers all throughout the different cities through the United States, blocking off cities and not letting people commute from one city to the next. Verse 18, for by their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because on those times, that's why gun sales are so at a high rate right now, because people are afraid. They know something's coming. They know that people are going to be stealing people's stuff. It tells you that in Zechariah, the 14th chapter, that, they're going to be, people's houses are going to get rifled. People are going to be invading one another's homes looking for food. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. The modern day sword is your gun, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation. So these troubling times is going to change people. You may have neighbors that you be barbecuing with every weekend or every other weekend. You get together, your wives and your children, and you have barbecues, and you have hangouts. Well, the scriptures tell you that the love of many shall wax cold, because the people ain't gonna be able to provide for their own. So what they're gonna do is look for who got it, and they're gonna go get it. You have your doomsday preppers that are prepping up because they see what's coming. They stockpiling ammunition, they stockpiling water, food, dry food, or they have what they call food substitute or meat substitute, where they have all these different canned goods, or there's different instant meals and stuff that they store away, and that doesn't have an expiration that won't spoil. So they stocking up on this stuff, and there's people that know that these people are doing this stuff, and the government knows that these people are doing it. Listen, there ain't nothing that the government don't see you doing. That's why they got their eyes in the sky, or their eagle eye or whatnot. That's they're spying on people through your smart TVs, your laptops, your cell phones. You know they're past that Patriot Act 1 and 2, so they can legally spy on people and see what people have, and it's all gonna break down to the people. People gonna be it's gonna be straight chaos, straight war. You're gonna have certain police officers are gonna throw their badges down. They're gonna come off their jobs so they can go home so they can try to protect their own families. These are all things that you see in this. Even if you're someone who don't understand the scriptures, even in the scriptures say all these things is prophesied all within the scriptures. Everything I'm speaking of is scriptures tell you all this. You could look at what's going on in today's society. You could see. You just have that feeling that damn something's on. Something's coming up. You just listen to the different monetary specialists, people who specialize in let you know what's going on with economics. They're telling you that a crash is coming. They're telling you that you know be prepared. It's, they're telling people, of course, unspiritually telling people to stockpile, stockpile gold, silver, stockpile water and perishables and things like that. They're telling you that the dollar's gonna bust. It's not a matter of if, but when. These are all things that are coming, and of course, the job market is gonna crash. It's gonna crash, and the dollar's gonna crash, and then the United States is gonna be a total breeding ground for ultimate chaos. If you think these protests that's going on in all these different countries, you think they wilding out, you think those are bad. Wait till they hit over here to North America. Wait till the U.S. when this grounds and this soil is touched. When these people can't get what because they wild out over here. They you know this is the this is the land where that you have police officers that are gunning down unarmed black so-called black men and totally getting away with it. That tells you the heart of the people in this country are solid are so solid in wickedness. I mean, think about that. Just have a solid wicked mind to let stuff like that go on over here. You don't see that type of stuff. You look in other countries and they're more in order with the scriptures. They over there putting adulterous women to death. They over there, if certain countries, if you steal, you get your hand chopped off. Like, it's just they try their best to have an order when it comes to law. But here, there's no order. So when these prophecies take place, there'll be no order. It'll just be all chaos. And it's all set up by design because they're trying to push forth this new system, a new monetary system, and push forth their one world government, their new world order, which pertains to them chipping everybody. If you're gonna have one world order, you're gonna have one class of people. Well, they're gonna classify it as two classes of people: the super rich and then the low class. There'll be no more middle class, but they all will be under under subjection, all under slavery, and so they want to implement their mark of the beast system, which is the microchip. And the people are going to be begging for a system to put in place so they can get back so they can get back to their luxuries, so they can get things back to normal, because these people, they got the same mindset of the so-called white man. They think things is going to recover. They think that we can always go back to how things were. But if you're a spiritual man, it's not going to go back to the way things were. It's going to have to go to a situation where people are going to have to take this chip or rely on the Most High, and it's never going to be able to go back to where it was, because a new rulership is going to be coming into place. This is Isaiah 36:6. It says, "Lo, thou trusted in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, wherein if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him." And the so-called white man is going to put this in place. He represents the modern day Pharaoh, and America's Egypt. And those people that are trusting into this broken reed is this system has to be broken down. That's why people are gonna the money's gonna the monetary system that's set in place now has to crumble. The dollar has to collapse. People have to lose their job, and this in Egypt has to seem to be broken, so the people could trust and want to trust in the relief of FEMA, the relief of the government. They're gonna say, "Oh, you're gonna take this chip, and this is how things will get back to normal." And then they're gonna take that chip, and it's gonna pierce into their hand, and and then they're gonna be, part of the mark of the beast, part of this system. And that's from my final scripture, Revelations 13:16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, just like that mark represents the microchip, the RFID chip, or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score 6, which is 666, and that's the mark of the beast. Now I wanted to just do a quick project right quick, just a quick one. So I click in mark of the beast, right, in Google, and you go to the images. Now first thing pops up is 666, right? 666 in the forehead, 666 in the forehead, 666, number of the beast. Now you scroll down, you see these barcodes, the different barcodes, right? Now, in Revelations, it says that he calls it both small and great, rich and poor, to free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Then it says, and we saw the images that of them having the six, three sixes on the forehead, which that was just symbolic, but it was just, when you Google it, it's giving you a visual image of, to help illustrate the scripture. And it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he have the mark. When you go back to these images, these are just visual images, but they're not actual what it is, but they're just so you can see that it could correlate what the scriptures say. Now, you see right here in this picture, it has right here look like a chip, and it's a scanner on his forehead, but it's a barcode, right? Now, when you look at, where is it at? Is right here. Now, each one of these strips is a 6 in the barcode. Now, you see that the rest of the numbers cut off right here, but the three sixes, they go beyond that point. There's a 6 in the beginning, 6 in the middle, and a 6 on the end. So when you scan that, when you want to purchase and you buy, the only way you'll be able to purchase and buy by having that chip in your hand to be able to scan these barcodes. So that's how you'll be able to purchase. You'll be able to buy or sell because you'll have that mark in your hand, and that mark is these images right here. You see the chip right there in the X-ray of someone's hand. You see right here, it's about the size of a grain of rice, a little bit bigger than a grain of rice. Implemented in the hand. Here goes another visual of the RFID chip with the barcode. These are all images of people. Like here, you can see this person has just been injected with the chip. There's another image. Where is it at? Here we go. Right here. It shows you that this person actually has the chip. The imprint of the chips is pushing through their skin. So these are just visuals, and just typed in Google Images, Mark of the Beast, and if you typed in 666, you get similar. I'm pretty sure you get similar videos. I'm sorry, you get similar um, visuals, visual images, pictures, and then to look up that word mark. Just before I close, I just wanted to look up this word right quick. It's from the Greek word charagma, which is a stamp or imprint mark of a stamp on the forehead or on the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist, meaning you basically uniting with this man's system. You going against the Most High, because the scriptures tell you that, and in Revelation, I believe the 14th chapter, it tells you that you'll be put to death if you take this mark. The mark branding of a horse. A horse represents, cattle or ownership of a property, because people brand their property, brand their horses, they brand their cattle, their cows, pigs or whatever they brand it. And that's what this man is looking at our people as to be, which is they want to chip everybody because they look at everybody as their goyim, their cattle. So um, there you have it. They want to put this stamp or this imprint, an incision into your hand, and so therefore you will be in their system, and you be done taking their mark of the beast, and that means that you're dated to be destroyed. You have a date with destruction when Yahweh Shai comes back. When Yahweh gives Yahweh Shai that green light to come back, you got a missile for your forehead, and that chip is gonna be X mark the spot. So anyway, I'm gonna bring this to a close. I hope it was edifying. Um, to those that took the moment and the time to watch and listen to the video, I want to say all praise and honor and glory and fear to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect brothers out there that's doing this work in sincerity and truth, and the few sisters that tune in. Shalom.